America! Captain America, the First Avenger. I'm sure this movie has the subtitle The First Avenger so other parts of the world can give a shit, and because it doesn't feature Big Mac, Bon Jovi, and MacGyver. Rest assured, if it did feature Big Mac, Bon Jovi, and MacGyver, it would have just been called Captain America, because that is how we roll. Now, I think a lot was riding on Captain America the First Avenger because, you know, it's the first Avenger. If this movie failed, the whole Avengers thing that they're going for would kind of feel like it was built on bricks of shit. So Captain America is the story of Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans. And I gotta say, he is so absurdly skinny. I saw it in the trailers and I was really impressed in the trailers how he looked, but when you see it on screen, you're like, that's impossible. He looks like Chris Evans if he had AIDS and they superimposed his face on like Gollum's body. He looks absurdly sickly. And this is World War II, and there are two kinds of people in the world. Americans and Americans. Yeah, in the world. Makes sense. Steve Rogers is clearly that first one. This kid is so patriotic. He just wants to get out there and serve his country. And I actually thought that was really cool to see. I mean, these days you don't see that. These days people are like, yeah, I know you're paying for 4 years of college, but no thank you. But him, he's like, no, I just want to go out there and do good. So I really like Steve Rogers' attitude. He's just a good guy. Which is why Stanley Tucci is like, that's the guy we want for the whole super soldier experiment thing. And so he becomes the super soldier Captain America. And after that, they're like, all right, now what do we do with him? All right, we'll just make him a propaganda piece. Which is funny, and I like that they did that because that's why Captain America was created. Same with Superman. Country morale. Because nothing speaks American morale like an alien from Krypton. Which is why we got Captain America. And so at a point he's like, you know what? Enough of this shit. I'm going in there and I'm doing some good. Now the main bad guy in the movie is the Red Skull, played by Hugo Weaving. And Hugo Weaving was like born to play the Red Skull. I always thought the guy looked like a skeleton anyway, and he plays a good villain. We all know that. So it was just perfect. And I thought the Red Skull was like some Hitler enthusiast or something. It's not really like that. He just hates absolutely everything. He's one of those old school comic book villains who just wants to destroy everything. Yeah, you know, little things. Hugo Weaving totally killed his Red Skull. Now, when going into these Avengers tie-in movies, I always forget that they tie in. So I'm watching Captain America and I'm like, holy shit, look at that. It ties in with Thor a bit. Which I really like seeing. I like this whole intricate web of interconnected movies that Marvel's doing. I gotta give him props for that. There was a lot of build-up though. I mean, I like seeing when he was skinny, and I like seeing how, you know, it shows the quality of his character. Then he becomes a super soldier, but he's a propaganda piece, so he's still not really doing anything in war. Then he gets out in a battle, and you know the scenes it showed in the trailers? Like he busts in the door and starts blasting people. Yeah, they like montage through that. You get the feeling he goes out in a few battles, but it's all like montage. A montage with no 80s music? No, you can't do that. However, there were some action scenes in this movie that were just straight up awesome. That shield is a great weapon. I mean, I knew he threw it, you know, I know the whole concept of the shield, but when you see it like bounce off of someone's chin and make that ping sound, you're just like, I want that shield. And there were some action scenes that reminded me of a video game raid. Like not MMO raid, more like Unreal Tournament raid. You got a bunch of soldiers fighting, and then one guy gets in the vehicle and the other guy gets on the 50 cal on the top and he's just blasting people while the other guy's driving through the base. I was like, yeah, we got our Unreal Tournament action sequence, check. And there is one scene that I kid you not is the train scene from Uncharted 2. Verbatim, like it's the same. They're in the mountains, they're advancing the train while it's moving. You got the big guys in armor that are coming after him that are like impossible to kill. I'm telling you, it was Uncharted 2. A lot of the scenes though, you could tell they use special effects. You know that artificial sunlight green screen kind of effect you get when you're like on a green screen? It usually happens when they try to recreate 1940 something on a green screen. It just looks like artificial sunlight, like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or something. Quite a few scenes you notice that going on, but it's not like Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow or anything like that. So it kind of annoys you, but you kind of roll with it. Other scenes when he's throwing people, you can tell they're on strings and whatnot, so that kind of looks fake. But then he'll throw the shield and bounce it off someone's face, and you're like, I forgot about the strings. And you saw him in the trailer, Howard Stark's in it, Tony Stark's dad. And it's funny because Samuel L. Jackson was saying to Tony Stark in Iron Man 2, he was like, you remind me of him, you know, your father. I was just like, I don't see it. I saw the 70s stock footage. He does not remind me of Howard Stark in the least. But in Captain America, Howard Stark's young, he's in his prime, and I'm like, yeah, he reminds me of Tony Stark. So I really like the character Steve Rogers, probably more than any character I've liked since Tony Stark, which is funny because they're so different. They're like absolutely different. They're nothing alike. Not at all. The movie was cool. It was fun. The pacing was a little off, I felt, in a lot of scenes. I don't know if it was an action-packed movie or a movie that took a while to get going. Probably both. Mixed in among itself. But it's still worth checking out, and I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray. So the Avengers setup movies are out now. So which one's your favorite? Iron Man 1, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America? Comment below, let me know. But if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more. America! Because I can.